should we win the day. The 4th of July will no longer be known as an American holiday, but as the day when the world declared in one voice, we will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. We're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day.
Do you know how long it took for the Earth to die? Everyone thought our home was indestructible, but it wasn't until that day that I calculated when the aliens would attack Earth. My name is David Levinson, and before July 2nd, I was just a nobody. People called me the cable guy from New York Cable, but no one thought that it was an obscure guy like me who beat the aliens with code. The TV station's control room was as noisy as usual that day. I ignore every message on my pager before I go to work. Cans go in the recycling garbage can, and my plants drink 3 milliliters of water a day. This is the order of my life, and I won't allow anyone to break it. The owner kept after me saying that all the satellites had disappeared overnight. How is this possible? I took the strange report. What was on it made me feel cold all over. It was a signal that didn't belong to Earth, breaking the original signal pattern.
It's impossible.
It's hidden in the bands between global satellites. Its irregular rhythm like a thorn in my nerve. I analyzed it over and over, decoded it over and over, and eventually came up with a binary code that indicated that it was a countdown. I can't wait to tell you all about this discovery, but I'm a man of little presence, and you're more likely to believe the president's TV report than my analysis. Everyone was getting ready to run to the shelter while I walked out of the company's gate, because according to my calculations, in 1 minute, the alien ship was about to descend on Earth. Spaceships 15 kilometers in diameter hovered over the city. Not just New York, Washington, even India, England, Germany were not spared. I began to realize that this was a premeditated move by the aliens. They were, as it were, playing a game of chess. Every ship's deployment, every signal adjustment is their fall. They were close to making the final move, the destruction of all mankind. Staying in the shelter is no longer a good idea. Escape. Leave the city. But I couldn't change everyone's mind on my own, and the only thing I could do now was to use the power of the president. I went home, grabbed my father, and drove to the White House. My father did not believe that I could be more powerful than scientists, MIT graduates do fiber optic cable repairman, but also to go to the White House to change the president's mind. It was a fool's errand, but I did do it. I searched through technology and found the phone number of the president's assistant and asked her to open the White House for us. When I stood in front of the president and said, "This is a countdown," the room went silent. I used all my reasoning to tell about the data, the lines of code, and the shifts in every signal. Since they want to destroy the world, they need to have technology to support the contact. The short answer was that they had used our satellites against us, and the numbers flashing on the computer signaled that time was running out for us. And by now, the helicopter sent by the Ministry of Defense had hovered in front of the ship, sending out its first light signal in an attempt to communicate. I knew he was doing it out of duty and to bet on a miracle, but my gut told me they wouldn't respond. Sure enough, the next second, the bottom of the ship lit up with a beam of light. No words, no warning, just one precise blast. The helicopter was instantly blown apart. The president finally decided to leave the White House first. I turned on my computer and watched the numbers on the screen go from 29 minutes to 9, silently calculating whether the plane could outpace their movements. Finally, the countdown came to a close.
Time's up.
The airship traveled above the tallest building in New York and blossomed into a strange light. The next second, the moment the plane ran off the runway, I heard a loud crash behind me tearing open the sky. I turned around and saw the White House engulfed whole in a fire. It wasn't a building falling, but a symbol of civilization being obliterated into ashes. The plane lurched violently, the fire whistling out the porthole, almost grazing our wings like the open fangs of doom, half a second short of swallowing us. I clenched the armrests for a split second, my heart beating wildly. I didn't dare make a sound. If you had listened to me earlier, this might have been avoided. The city was leveled overnight, and the president kept repenting if he had advised everyone to leave earlier. Would he not have created the current situation? With the news of the destruction of NORAD, everyone finally couldn't sit still and proposed to the president to use nuclear weapons. This was obviously a wrong decision. If nuclear weapons were used, how many innocent people would be hurt?
No, you're not going to launch nuclear weapons. You're going to kill them and us at the same time. If we fire nukes, it can't be allowed.
Shut up, Captain! Get him out of here!
My father appeared just in time. He first lambasted them for their inaction and then mentioned a key piece of information. Right, Area 51. Finally, I saw hesitation in their expressions. 24 floors below Area 51, where a whole team of scientific researchers, alien spaceships, alien remains, were hidden, and where they have been working on them for 40 years. The ship had been silent for 40 years, and on July 2nd, the day the aliens descended, all the instruments inside the ship suddenly began to function. The aliens are much the same as humans. They rely on oxygen to survive, have about the same tolerance for heat and cold as humans, have eyes, ears, but no vocal cords, and probably rely on brainwaves for communication. But compared to humans, aliens are much more fragile, so they have a specially designed biomechanical shell. But these studies are still on the surface. We need to find the aliens' Achilles heel and defeat them in one fell swoop. At that moment, everyone looked towards me. Then the president formally invited me to join the Area 51 research team, and together we would figure out their technology, their plans, their weaknesses. I suddenly felt like I was carrying a heavy burden. I nodded, but in the back of my mind I knew that from now on, for every extra sentence of alien language I deciphered, humanity would have one more second to prepare for death. This wasn't research. This was a race against time for salvation. Meanwhile, Marine pilot Steven captures a living alien, but the research isn't going as smoothly as usual. During the dissection, its eyes opened. Like a machine poised to strike, it was instantly awake and quick to strike. In the next instant, it impaled the glass with its tentacles, knocking the experimenters to the ground, and multiple tentacles circled the doctor's neck, borrowing voices to speak. We stepped back behind the glass, and the president and I stared at the scene. It had no anger, no fear, only indifference, like it was watching a swarm of trapped insects. It spoke, 2 words in a human voice.
I know there is much we can learn from each other if we can negotiate a truce. Can there be a peace between us?
The tentacles were on the verge of snapping the doctor's neck when I heard their icy refusal. What do you want then? The aggressor's arrogance completely enraged us, and the president decided that nuclear weapons would be used. It arced through the air and hit the aliens' main ship with precision. Everyone held their breath. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. No reaction, no explosive debris, no structural disintegration. After the smoke cleared, the ship still hovered steadily, not even a scratch on it. We must find another way. What do you think about when you have a cold? If only the pesky virus would go away. That's right, the virus. I'm unarmed and I'm not a soldier, but I know code.
Just like they used our satellites against us, we can use their own signal against them.
I led an experiment where a can placed on the deck underneath the ship. The soldier hit it with precision, but the can was unharmed.
So that Coke can was protected by the craft's shield. We can't penetrate their defenses.
We know that already. What's your point?
We can't blow through them, so we'll have to make their shields disappear first. The soldier raised his gun again and took aim. That's right, the shield disappears, and I use the oldest programming language to build the most straightforward logic virus that shatters their strongest defenses.
We plant a virus into that mother ship. It's going to then filter down into all the corresponding ships below.
Just how exactly do we infect the mothership with this virus?
They finally asked the most critical question. I present my complete plan to the president. If we fly into the mothership with this small 40-year-old ship and upload the virus, we can paralyze the shields on all the subships simultaneously. At that point, the ground forces would have a chance to attack. This was a suicide mission, and no one dared to step forward. I had to take the initiative and speak up. I'll go. I was the only one who knew every line of code for this virus. Just then, Steven walks out. We activated the ship and broke out of the passageway like a bullet underneath Area 51. Managed to fly through the alien fleet and into the interior of the mothership. The ship and the mothership were like positive and negative poles. The ship was towed and automatically moored into a harbor. We didn't have to do anything. Their systems had recognized us as one of their own. As I embedded the virus upload system into the ship's console, my hands were shaking and my mind was unusually clear. The coded upload began. This is Earth's only chance to fight back. The virus was successfully implanted. I pressed execute and the code spread through the mothership, silently paralyzing their central network. Next came gifts from humanity.
Eagle 1, Box 2. Eagle 20, Box 2.
Countless missiles were fired aimed at the mothership, and huge explosions bloomed in space, shaking the entire universe. The mothership collapsed, crumbled, and burned. We did it. As I broke free of the mothership, I left one last gift behind. The ship began to shake violently, the shell wailing like metal tearing. We were falling into the Earth's gravitational field, passing through the atmosphere, as it blasted down into the vast desert. I'm back. In the distance came the sound of engines and shouts, and in a blur, figures ran through the sand. It was the president and other soldiers.
David, not bad.
We won that day, not by strength, not by speed, but by human ingenuity, courage, unity, and by not giving up. I'm just an ordinary TV signal engineer. But with my code, I pulled mankind back from the brink of extinction. Not a hero, just someone who did what he could. This day will be remembered forever. Humanity's Independence Day.